Thanks very much for checking out this episode of Turning to Him. If you enjoy what you hear, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave comments, share it with your friends, all the basic stuff. When you do things like that, it makes it easier for other people to find the channel and add goodness into their lives. Thanks again. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Turning to Him. My name is Zach Batty, and I'm here with Kyle Jacobs. Kyle is a lifelong member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He is also an LDS singer-songwriter, recording and performing under the artist name Brother Jacobs Jams. He's passionate about spreading the gospel with his high-energy music and helping people find the courage to stand for their faith. He lives in Santan Valley, Arizona, with his wife, Atlee, and his two children, Ivory and Sawyer. Kyle, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
I appreciate it, Zach. Thanks for having me.
I am excited. Let me just start out by saying, before the interview, I was clicking around your Instagram channel and your YouTube channel. You are a fun guy. I'm really excited for this interview.
Thanks.
Where's the best place for people to follow you and to get your newest stuff?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the music is concerned, really all platforms that stream. So Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube. I do have a kind of my hub is brotherjacobsjams.com. And so whatever is happening, that's kind of filtered through there. But yeah, Instagram and YouTube is if you're looking for social media type of stuff. But music, wherever music is streamed, just look it up, Brother Jacobs Jams, and you'll find me.
I love it. I love it. All right, well, let me get to know you a little bit better. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Mexico, actually.
Okay.
A little bit of the mission field, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So, there's not a whole lot of members in New Mexico. Or I was in southern New Mexico, and so in my graduating class in high school, man, shoot, 5, 6 members of the church there. So,
Yeah. Out of how
um,
many?
uh, we had a graduating class of 700, I think.
Oh, okay. So
Something
a
like that.
significant graduating class. That's a
Yeah,
pretty
oh
big
yeah.
class.
Yep, yep. So and really we were in a branch and I was in a district. Like we weren't talking stakes and wards. We're talking districts and branches. And so it was actually kind of a neat thing because I got a chance to in effect testify every day. People kind of knew me as somebody who wouldn't do certain things
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and it was a neat testimony builder for me to be able to do that. And then, the members that we did have around, there was a really good bond there. Where it's like, hey, we had some really deep connections and camaraderie there because we were few and far between. So it's kind of a natural bond that happens there.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of that branch family takes on a different meaning when
Yeah.
it's you in the frontier.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it sounds like the church was always a big part of your life growing up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. I was super blessed to be born, as Nephi says, of goodly parents. My parents grew up in Utah. And, that's at least where they met. My mom grew up in California for the most part, but St. George is where a lot of my extended family was.
Okay.
And so my parents, they weren't roamers, but they left the nest. My dad literally became a cowboy up in Montana, and that's where I was born. While the rest of his family stayed in a close-knit circle in St. George, my dad's like, "Hey, let me go pave my own way." And so that brought us up to Montana, and then down to New Mexico. So, but that heritage that we had being in the church was really, really strong. It was a constant topic of conversation within our home. Really, example wise, was the biggest thing that I gleaned from my parents. We may not have had family home evening every Monday night type of thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
but dad took me home teaching all the time. And anytime somebody needed to have service done in the branch, we were there every Saturday morning doing that. And so that really helped build my testimony of a functional discipleship,
Yes.
which was something that I've just clung to my whole life.
Yeah, yeah. Really serving with all of your heart, might, mind, and strength. Takes
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Okay. So your dad was a rancher in New Mexico.
Well, so he was a cowboy. He was just a
Okay.
lowly cowhand up in Montana, actually. So
Okay.
he's rustling cows and his horse is slipping on ice and snowstorms and branding and the whole nine yards. My mom was the ranch cook. And so we boys, I've got three brothers, so four boys in the house. And I never lived on the ranch. By the time I was born, we were still in Montana, but in a town,
Okay.
not much more than a village. So I never lived on the ranch, but my mom's cooking skills from the ranch carried over. And so a funny story, she's got these baked beans that we call Mom's Famous Baked Beans. And they are like I can't have any other baked beans, no matter how fancy a place we go. The best barbecue joint here in Arizona doesn't hold a candle to my mom's baked beans. And my wife asked for the recipe since it's so good. And the recipe is literally like 5 pounds of bacon, 5 pounds of beef, like this huge ranch style, like, hey, I've got to feed everybody. So my wife had to like cut it
Yeah.
in fifths to make it
Yes.
a reasonable recipe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so what took you to New Mexico then?
So my dad, I think about this a lot. My dad's dream was to be a cowboy. Like he was living his dream up there in Montana. And my oldest two brothers, they were born up there during the ranch hand years. And my dad realized that it wasn't the best environment for kids to grow up in as far as like education speaking and opportunities and things. So he really I hate to say he gave up his dream, but he fulfilled that dream and then had the self-sacrifice to move on for the sake of his family. So he got a job with Schwann's. I don't know if you're familiar with Schwann's, the
Hmm.
ice cream,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
yellow trucks. He got a job with Schwann's up in Montana, got really good up there, became a manager, and they shipped him down to New Mexico,
Okay.
and he managed a couple teams there. So
Boy, that's a lesson in and of itself. I mean, we could have a discussion about the chapters of life that, hey, your dad got to live a dream and he was willing to say, that was a great chapter. This is
yeah,
a different chapter now.
yep.
I need to provide a little differently now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Man,
it's
it's
it's a great example to me for sure.